Hello and welcome to the podcast. I'm Kim. This is Kim's Wellness Space. Oh, there's a fly. That's a good start. You can find me hanging out mainly over on Instagram. Thank you so much for being here and listening to the podcast today. If you are new, I highly encourage you to go back and listen to past episodes. But thank you for being here, and I hope that you find this episode useful. And today we are going to be talking walking, because walking is one of those magical things that you can do. It's free. You don't need special equipment. You don't need to be in a special place. And it is so underrated. I cannot tell you. But there's different types of walking, and there's different reasons for walking. And whichever one of those you pick, the benefits of walking, you are definitely going to appreciate and get the benefit of all of the benefits. Oh, that was a lot of benefits. Do you know what I mean? So however you decide to walk, whether you're just going for a stroll with your dog, whether you're power walking and getting your heart into that zone where you want to be, for whatever reason that you walk, there are so many benefits to it that you're going to feel better. That's what I'm trying to say. I think I said that in a bit of a roundabout way. It's going to be an interesting podcast today. So let's just explore the different types of walking first. I think that's a good place to start. And so, like I say, it could be that you're just going out for a stroll with your dogs. Now, if we go to walk our dogs, it's lovely. I love doing that. It's so nice. And you get to be outside in the fresh air. You get to look at nature. You get to notice the other things, the flowers, depending on the season, maybe the butterflies. But if your dogs are anything like mine, they have to stop and sniff at everything. They wander off somewhere. You have to wait for them to come back. We have one that likes to dive into hedges to chase the birds, and sometimes we don't know where she is. So we have to change our direction to go see her. So we were not out walking for any other purpose than the dogs. But at the same time, we're getting the benefit of being out and moving and being in the fresh air. So that's one type of walk. There's another type where you are doing the movement for movement's sake. So you're not just walking for a wander, but you're actually wanting to move your body with purpose. And so maybe you have a tracker watch, maybe you want to do it for a certain amount of time, maybe you want to hit a certain amount of steps. Maybe you want to raise your heart rate into a certain zone depending on what your goal is. So that's a different type of walk. And so you would still get the same benefits as your stroll, but you would get more intentional benefits because you're doing it with a different intent behind it. But the first one's not wrong. If you only ever just wander with your dogs, it's still really good. That's what I'm trying to say. It may be that you really want to go for an hour's walk every day, but you just can't because your fitness levels are just not there. And so you go out your gate, you walk to the bottom of the road and you come back. That's brilliant. That is still so good. There's still so many benefits that you get from that, and you can build it slowly. And honestly, I know we don't like walking in the rain, but let's face it, we live in the UK, it rains quite a lot. Maybe just put on that raincoat and your woolly hat and your gloves and go for a walk anyway. Once you're wet, aren't you? You can always dry off when you get home. And there's a lovely quote, and I can't remember which Scandinavian country it is, but one of them, or maybe it's all of them, I'm not sure. They say there's no such thing as bad weather, it's bad clothing. And I think that's brilliant because it's absolutely true, isn't it? If you've got your wellies on and your big jacket, you can still walk through the puddles. You can still get that energy boost from being outside. We don't have to wait for the perfect weather, do we? We should just go when we feel it's right to go. It doesn't have to be perfect. There doesn't have to be a perfect length that we do. We don't have to hit a certain amount of steps. I'm sure that you have all, heard that you got to do 10,000 steps every day, but quite honestly, you haven't. That 10,000 steps was a marketing thing And, if you're getting at the moment 2,000 and you up your steps to 3,000, well, your benefits are going to come in. Your body is going to appreciate that increase. You don't have to hit a magical number. It's just getting out there and doing it that brings you the benefit, not the amount of steps. So what are the benefits? What are these benefits that I keep banging on about? So first of all, being out and walking really clears your brain. So you then get clarity. Have you ever had one of those days where you really just can't make a decision and it's going round and round in your head? If you go for a walk, all of a sudden you can make that decision much easier. Your brain just becomes clear, and it gives you space to problem solve, to make decisions. It's really good for clarity. So that's the first benefit. And the other, I'm just looking down here because although I don't tend to write scripts, I have got notes on this because I don't want to forget anything. So another benefit is that it boosts your mood. So if you get up in the morning and you do your affirmation, or you do your high five in the mirror, or whatever it is that is in your remit that makes you feel good, but you're still feeling of a low mood, and let's face it, we all wake up with days where we're feeling lower than others, then going out for a walk really boosts your mood. It's really good. It sets off endorphins in your brain, and it literally can lift your mood. And you can notice, you can stand still and be like, this morning I feel a little bit, go for your walk, come back, how do I feel now? You will feel better. It might not solve anything, but you will feel better. And also you'll have had a clear head, you'll get clarity, and maybe you can sort that problem that was bringing your mood down. Because it raises your mood and makes you feel better, it's really good for a self-esteem boost. Like, you start to feel better about yourself. And also, you've been for a walk, so you can tick your list. I've been for a walk, I've moved today. That's really good for my body. I've done something that's good for me. So that really helps as well. And so, as I was just saying, it boosts your energy. And there was a paper that I read that said that a walk, even a short walk, like a 20-minute walk, will boost your energy way more than that cup of coffee that you're drinking in the morning. So, if you're able, on those days where you just think, oh, probably need a second or a third coffee, maybe leave the coffee and go for a walk. Because as you walk, you increase the amount of oxygen that comes in, those endorphins that I talked about get released, and it elevates your energy. You feel energized, so then you want to do more. So it kind of rolls, doesn't it? We're feeling better, we've got more energy, we've got clarity of what's going on. So we're already seeing the benefits, and that will happen whether it's a 10-minute walk, a stroll with your dogs, a wander with your friends, or a power walk. It doesn't matter. It all comes from the same. And also from an indoor walk. Like, if you absolutely can't get out, like if it is, thundering and lightning and hail and horrendous, and I don't know, or it's snowed and it's really icy and you can't get out your front door, there are so many resources on YouTube that are free that you can just press play and walk along at home. Like, some of them are to music, some of them are a bit more aerobic, but you don't have to add in the aerobic. You can literally just use the sound of the music to get your pace going. Whatever works for you. So there's so many options. Another benefit of us walking, because we're outside in the fresh air, because we're getting that sunlight on our face that we've talked about before, it's boosting our immunity. So that's really good. So especially on those days where you think, oh, am I going to get a cold? Is there something going on? Like, getting out, getting that fresh air boosts everything. It boosts your immunity too. So it makes your body stronger and fitter for fighting away the germs. And there has been studies showing that people that walk regularly have less sick days, and also have less respiratory problems as well. So it's win-win, isn't it, all the way? It also eases our joint pain. So walking protects our joints, including our hips and our knees. It keeps us lubricated. It strengthens our bones. It strengthens our muscles. And obviously our muscles are supporting our bones, which is great as we go into, as we get older. because we want our muscles and our bones to be strong. If we trip over and fall over the dog, we want to be able to get ourselves back up on our own. And just going out and walking strengthens those muscles. It strengthens our bones. So it's really, really good for us as we get older. So that's just 5 benefits of walking. And there's loads more, honestly. There's so many. But people get really hooked up, don't they, in making things complicated, and we need to make sure that we keep it really simple. So if you are, at the moment, where are we? So coming to the end of January, maybe you haven't made a plan for your movement yet, or maybe like me, you've been unwell, so all of your movement had to stop while you were resting and recovering, and you're just trying to think, how am I going to get back into moving? Like, need to get my body built back up, get my stamina built back up. Walking is amazing for doing that. And as I say, it doesn't have to be long. You can start off with a 5-minute walk, maybe increase to 10, maybe 20. Maybe there's somewhere where you can go where there's a slight incline. That's also really good because it'll help with your heart health, getting that blood pumping. There's so much good that we can do from going for that walk. And then once we've started, we can increase. We maybe want to increase the length, maybe want to increase the steps, whatever works for you. And then other movement will be able to join in from that afterwards, if that's right for you. But you don't need to rush it. There doesn't have to be I haven't done anything this year yet. Say, if you're like me, I haven't done anything in January working out because I've been too ill. So I'm not going to start walking 10,000 steps from tomorrow and power walking my way there. Like, that's not going to happen. But definitely I can take the dogs out for 20 minutes, or maybe I put my headphones on and listen to a 20-minute podcast and just stomp away by myself. Because that's another really good thing, which I love doing, is I love listening to audiobooks. I love listening to podcasts. And there's only so much time in the day, isn't there, to be able to listen to things. But walking, I find, really works well. If I've got a podcast I want to listen to and I know it's like an hour, I know that I can plug my ears in, as I call it, and off I go, have my hour's walk and really listen to what's going on. I find that what I'm listening to really goes in more. I listen better. And the hour's walk passes really quickly because I'm not really thinking about my walking. I'm thinking about the podcast that I'm listening to. So it works really well for me. So that's a really, good tip if you want to try. There's so many good podcasts out there, aren't there, that are so informative. So there's always something to listen to, even if it's just a story. Like, I love listening to audiobooks. You could listen to your audiobook. But I think, like everything, it's what works for you. Like, find the walk that feels comfortable for you. Find the amount of time that works for you, the route that works for you. Like, some people like walking the same route every single day because they know the route, it feels safe, they know how long it takes them, they know roughly how many steps they're going to do, and it ticks that box for them. Other people would find that absolutely awfully boring and want to do a different route every day, and mix it up, and maybe some days have longer walks than others. And I think I don't mind walking the same route every day. I don't have a problem with that. But I do think that it's good to have different lengths of walks on different days. So especially if you're building up, once you are walking more regularly, if you can get yourself to walk every day, it would be beneficial for some days to do a long walk and then other days to do a shorter walk. It's always good to mix it up. But that's just my opinion. You need to do what works for you, because, as we've said before, if you're doing it for me, then you're not going to do it. You need to do it for you and whatever works for you. So just a short one today, but I think it's really important to note that walking is really underrated. It does do so much for us, and it is a free thing. Like, you don't have to join, like, you can go and join a walking club. Then we've got walking clubs near us that are free, but you don't need to do anything really structured. You can literally get up in the morning and say, today I'm going to go for a walk at this time, put your shoes on, go for a walk. That's it. Easy peasy. You've won, you've ticked, you're heading on the right way forward. You're doing something that's going to be so beneficial for your body. So yeah, I encourage you all to get your trainers on and go out for a short walk today, and maybe do it again tomorrow. So I hope that's been helpful. I hope that's given you a little taster of some movement that you can do and why you should do it, and just something that can help us. That's what all we want, isn't it? To be able to do little small things that help us on our journey of wellness so that we feel amazing. So thank you so much for listening to me today. I hope you've enjoyed it. As I say, if you want to go back and listen to past episodes, there's loads. I had brilliant guests last year, so there's lots of different things to listen to. If you want to find out about more of what I'm doing, come over to Instagram and see what's going on over there. Coming up in the spring, I am doing my coaching is going to be starting. So if you're interested in having a health coach, then come over to Instagram, drop me a message, let's chat. And I've also got something exciting coming up on YouTube, which is another sort of outlet of Kim's wellness space, which is going to be a bit sort of, how can we describe it? It's going to be more than a podcast, more than Instagram. It'll be like masterclasses, I guess. But it'll be on YouTube for free. And yeah, just another way that I can help support you all with your wellness. So yeah, that was really exciting. I hope you've listened. I hope it's helped. Thank you so much. And I will speak to you again soon.